What if ADHD treatment doesn't just help manage symptoms in the current time, but actually changes your brain in positive ways? That's exactly what a new MRI study suggests, and the findings are surprisingly reassuring. I'm Dr. David Danish, a double board certified psychiatrist specializing in child, adolescent, and adult psychiatry. I've worked with ADHD for years, and one of the most common concerns I have, and which I hear from families and patients, is what does long-term medication treatment for ADHD actually do to the brain? Today, we're digging into that question with science, not speculation. Researchers looked at the brains of adults with ADHD, some who had taken stimulant medication for years and some who never had been treated for their ADHD. The shocking results: those who were treated with stimulants showed measurable structural differences in their brains, not in a scary or concerning way, but in a way that suggests growth and maturation in key areas linked to attention, emotional regulation, and decision making. Specifically, there was increased cortical folding, what scientists call gyrification, in regions like the superior temporal gyrus and the orbital frontal cortex. That's important because these areas of the brain help with things like focusing, impulse control, and organizing thoughts. There is also greater sulcal depth and cortical complexity, especially in the orbital frontal cortex. What does that mean? It's a fancy way of saying the brain appears to be developing in a more refined and capable way in areas that really matter for attention, focus, and impulse control in daily life. Additionally, here's what's really important. There did not seem to be any signs of harm in these MRIs. No brain shrinkage, no signs of toxicity, no structural loss. That's incredibly reassuring for me as a psychiatrist, and it should be for you as a patient, especially for people who've been on stimulant medications for many years. Even more interesting, treated individuals actually scored lower on something called venturesomeness, a trait linked to risk-taking, and their brain scans reflected that. They had structural patterns associated with greater self-regulation and decision control. So even if their core ADHD symptoms didn't look dramatically different on the paper or according to their family, their brains seemed to be functioning in a more measured, thoughtful way. Now, this study only included 26 people. That's relatively small, and we want to see bigger studies. And it was a cross-sectional study, meaning it captured just one moment in time. So we can't say these brain differences definitely come from medication. But here's an important twist. The people in the medication group were probably the ones with more severe ADHD as kids. Think about it. Those with the most impairment are the most likely to get treated, which means this study might actually be underreporting the benefits of treatment. Time will tell on that. If the medicated group started off with more severe symptoms and they still showed more advanced brain development, that might mean these MRI studies are actually more important and more amazing than we actually realize. Let's not forget, some people with ADHD manage really well without medication. In fact, the untreated group in this study had thicker cortex in certain areas. That might mean they developed compensatory strategies over time, like better planning habits or emotional regulation tools because they had to. This is why I only recommend ADHD medication when it's truly needed. If the ADHD symptoms are seriously interfering with work, with school, with relationships, medications can be life-changing and beneficial in those cases. But if someone's functioning well without them, that's perfectly valid too. In less severe cases, the brain may find its own path. That finding is not at all a reason to avoid medications when they're needed, but it is a reminder that personalized treatment matters. So here's what I want you to take away from today. Long-term stimulant use is not, at this time, from what we know, associated with brain damage. In fact, it actually may be the opposite, where it supports brain development in key areas that are essential for focus, attention, and impulse control. Just because your symptom scores don't change dramatically does not mean your brain isn't changing in a positive way. For some people, medication helps build the brain's capacity for focus, planning, and impulse control, even if that does not show up on a checklist. And for others with less severe ADHD, natural brain adaptations over time may be enough. If you are looking for a researched way to support your brain through ADHD, I've created a suite of tools just for you. Explore my recommended supplements for ADHD based on neuroscience, not hype. Download my complete list of ADHD medications, including on and off-label medications. Schedule with a top-tier executive function coach to build real-world skills no matter where you're located in the world. You can find all of this at drdaviddanish.com, and I'll put the links in the description. ADHD is not a one-size-fits-all. Whether you use medication, executive function coaching, exercise, supplements, other kinds of therapy, the goal is the same: to build a brain that works for you, not against you. If this video helped clarify some of the science behind ADHD medication safety in the long run, please subscribe to the channel, send it to people who might benefit, and check out more resources on my website. And remember, your brain is capable of growth, resilience, and change no matter what stage of life you're in. You're not stuck, you're definitely not alone.